Hello everyone, it's AKW Blaze 91, Anthony Hable here, and today I'm going to be giving you a big channel update on my YouTube channel to give you guys a heads up on why I've been off of YouTube for quite a while. But first of all, you're probably noticing to yourself, oh, this room looks so different. Well, that's because throughout all of June, me and my family have taken the time from moving from my old house to now I've moved into an all new house. Moving house takes a lot of time to prepare and sort out, and this has now been something that's been happening throughout all of May, and then with all the packing up, and then June. At the start of June, it was when we finished all the packing up, doing the final pack up, before then finally moving from our old house into the new house. So now everything's now been moved from the old house to my new house, to my old new house, and I spent the last couple of days, just sorting everything out, moving everything around, and just doing a complete setup of my new bedroom. So I'm going to be giving you a tour around my new room, and explaining my new current gaming setup video. So you'll be seeing what I've got set up right now, what I've got plugged in, and where my games are going to be are now placed. So let's do it. So let's give you a show around my new room before we dive into my new gaming setup. Alright, so standing from my entrance of my new bedroom, this is my new room, and what I'm gonna be living in for the next couple of years or so. Who knows how long. So this is what I got to work with right now currently. So yeah, it's a bit, you notice it's much smaller compared to my old bedroom that I used to be in, and there's obviously it's kind of a little bit cramped, but thankfully all the setup I've been doing, I have put in some effort to give myself some working space. So I'm now living in a 2-bedroom house. So I have a much smaller, so that means my room has got practically not entirely much space compared to my old room, but still I'm able to put in as much as I can, and I was able to put in everything that I was able to set up here. So this is basically my new bedroom that I gotta work with. So now let's show you the big things that's gone on right now, starting from this end here. Right, here's the TV and my game consoles. Right here I got the PlayStation 4 playing in the background. I've got a game in. I've just got a game that I'm leaving on idly in the background. This one is just a Dungeons and Dragons game, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. I just got this game playing in the background on my PS4. So over here, this is my PlayStation 4. No, my PlayStation 4. And right next to that is my Nintendo Wii and the charger. Now I've got the Wii set up over to the end there, much like my old house, where I've got that console on top of my my small white shelf that I made in school, and my charger. Yeah, I got my charger. My Wii charger there, set up on the floor, on the bedroom floor. Now over here is my plugs. Now over the plugs here, yeah, all my bed TV plugs is all safe there. And and there next to here is my PlayStation TV console, my Vita TV. With the controller, with a third-party controller that I'm using, my Chrome Kaiser controllers that I'm currently using, which is still working fine. And here I'm using a regular DualShock PS4 controller, at least currently, because I'm having some issues with my Chrome Kaiser that I'm using on my PlayStation 4. I am gonna investigate. I am gonna deep dive into that later. And here is my television remote, and here's my nodding Dexter, my old nodding Dexter that I had as a kid. There he is. To nod. Yeah, it doesn't nod very much. It is an old toy, but I had that little thing as a kid. I think when I used to have cereal. Alright, so that's and it's my television also has my Wii sensor bar set up on top here. My Wii has one remote already set up, already placed in and set up. One of my remotes is in my my black Wii sniper rifle. My other Wii remote is on my my House of the Dead hand cannon over there. My House of the Dead revolver. And then of course next to the sniper rifle is my PlayStation Move, and down below you won't be able to see it, but I also put my PlayStation 3 Move standard shooting attachment in there as well. And also right here I also got a modem slash telephone connectors right there for when I'm needing to connect to the internet. It's right there now, connected on the plugs as well. I gotta leave those on for when I need to use the internet. Well, I need to use them. And the phone itself is downstairs for my mum to use, but the telephone receiver is upstairs. But this telephone thing is up here. And I've decided to just move it out of the way so that I got room for my my handheld games right here in this corner, which I'll explain in a moment. Which I'll explain here. I've also got my fan here moved. I couldn't think of a proper location to put the fan in my bedroom. But I was thinking, yeah, you know what? I think the fan might actually be safer. not cramping in the way, so I wouldn't trip over, but right here. So yeah, I just put the fan right here, and obviously where my shoes are, if when I'm ready to go out. My bed is located here, and it's planted right next to the radiator. So yeah, my bed's gonna feel a little bit of strain there, but at least on the plus side, my bedroom is right next to the window, so that means when I'm sleeping and I've got the window open, the wind will blow a little bit in my face throughout the summer when I need to have it open. Alright, so down here is where I got my PlayStation 4 charger, a charging station. I've already got one of the controllers set up on here. I haven't got it properly set up because I'm at it's just a place where I just put my my other PS4 controllers at. And here's my new Virgin box for when I want to watch TV on Virgin. My VCR for when I want to set that up. My old VCR, but I'm not really using my VCR at the moment. And also all my plugs. Got my plugs here. That one of them is using the TV, one of them is using the TV, one of them is using the PS3. Right next to it, the PS4. The one next to it, the PlayStation TV console, micro console. The grey one there is using the Wii, and the one there that's using the I can't remember now. One of them, I think that's the. Is it the Virgin box? I can't remember. One of them I think is the Virgin box. Is the new Virgin box. So I have to have either the VCR or the Virgin box if I want to watch TV. Yeah, it's a bit of an asshole to work this way. I will have to look around for another plug extension or whatever it's called to that has 8 or more plug slots, which would be more handy for me. One that's got the same kind of switches on it, but like more than 8, so I'll be able to plug in the VCR. So yeah, that's my TV setup. And now here are the controllers. All the controllers I'm not using are in here, including my battery charger, my Wii remotes, my gun controller for the PS3, my G-Con 3 is in there, light gun is in there, spare thumb grips, spare batteries, which I might need a couple, my PlayStation 3 iToy camera, and in here's all my PS3 controller. All my PS3 controllers are to the left here, and to the right here, this is where I put my my Wii controllers, my Wii handsets, and I think there's also, yeah, my GameCube memory cards as well, my charge cables for the PS3, PS4, so forth when I need to use them. Also spare mouse, maybe a spare PC mouse, such, yeah. So it's not a particularly bad setup. Just I have to work with, I have to move this fan out the way if I want to try and get into get inside and try and dig one of my harder controllers out. So yeah, it's just a little something I need to do. Try and reach in there. So But I have done a good job with the new I have done a new setup for my handheld side, namely the Nintendo handheld side. This is going to be my Nintendo handheld side, where I'm putting all the portable Nintendo consoles games here. As you can see, I've got my Pikachu, my old, very old Pikachu plush here, just as an ornament, as a decorative ornament. And just while I put that on top here, just while I put one of my old teddies up here, I'll get to that in a moment. I put my DS games in a pile of 2. So that means if I buy more DS games, this is the pile that they're going to be in. And over on next to that, my 3DS games. Games are here. I usually has my 3DS games in the center because they have the smallest amount of games I bought for them. And also it would allow me to easily store my cartridge-less, my box-less Game Boy Advance games that are right here. And also I have spare cases for my DS, Game Boy Advance. If I buy a couple of DS and Game Boy Advance games unboxed, and I got 2 spare, and I also got 2 spare empty cases that are not used, just to add extra storage for my GBA games that are not that basically do not come in a box. I try to buy Game Boy Advance games in boxed forms, Game Boy. As much as I can. I try to find the boxes for those Game Boy games as much as I can. And if possible, I'm probably trying to get some covers for any of my games on the Game Boy Advance that I have bought in a case for. Just I need to make some covers for them. Like there's one I need to make for Doom. I need to make one for Doom here. Yeah, there's Game Boy Advance Doom that's in here. Yep, I need to make a cover for. I'll need to make a little cover for Doom for the GBA Doom 1. And then there's also one other GBA game that's in a box I've got a case for, but I need to make a case for that as well. And that game is Star Wars Flight of the Falcon. Yeah, that awful Star Wars game on the GBA. It tries to be a 3D game, but failed miserably. Yeah, just what I was saying. Anyway, I'm going to need to make some covers for those. Okay, so just for like easier storage. And if I could print off some of those, that would be great. I would really like to do a print out on those. Really would like to do a print out of those if I can. And any of the rest of the and if any of the GBA games I buy now that do not have cases, that do not have boxes, yeah, I'll put them all in here. Or any of these last 2 remaining ones I've got here. I'll try my hardest to get that set up. And now here's my Pikachu amiibo that's sitting there alongside the 3D as augmented reality cards that came with the 3DS. I'm using the one that's that came with my old Nintendo 3DS XL. My 2DS XL that I had for my birthday didn't come with a set of augmented reality cards, but that's perfectly fine. So I've got no objections with that. So yeah, so that's my Nintendo handheld space right here, and I will maybe change it, or may change it to make things a bit more interesting. But at the moment, this is what I'm gonna make myself work with. If I end up getting more 3DS games, more DS games, and more Game Boy Advance games in the future, I may consider looking around for a new Game Boy Advance while I'm here. So I'll explain that in a moment. But either way, let's now turn my attention to my PC over here. Now, PC has got some things going on here. Now, as usual, like my old setup, I've got my monitor all here. I've got my Xbox 360 connected to that monitor because I can't connect my Xbox 360 to my television because I got my my Nintendo Wii and my PlayStation consoles all hooked up to my TV. And I usually like having my PlayStation consoles all hooked up to the TV because that's the console I spend most of my time on. And I rarely ever touch my Xbox 360. It's only recently when I plugged it into the monitor that I started having one little quick go on it. And that was just to see if my Xbox account was still working, in which I had to play around and set it up. And yeah, you know, mess around with some of the Microsoft security bollocks, which is an absolute pain. Pain for me. But I eventually sorted it out anyway. And here's my Wii light gun. I have it near my PC because I've got the Mayflash sensor bar down there. And when I do with this is to use and this is the drive, and I've got the driver set up and the sensor bar itself to use my Wii remote on my computer alongside any of my Wii light gun shells when I'm playing either emulated games or just any PC games that can use the mouse for any of the rail shooter games. Any simple ones, really. And of course, my 5-button mouse is here. My 5-button mouse is here. This one is still seems to be working pretty well. It does get dirty very occasionally because I'm one of those who doesn't use a mouse mat, so I have to keep cleaning it every once in a while if it gets dirty. My keyboard, I'm just using an old keyboard that I used to have playing on my PlayStation 2 playing on the PlayStation 2 web, which I don't have the PS2 anymore. So yeah, and it still works and it's all set up pretty well. I have got the internet cables set up, wired internet cable set up on the PC, just like my old PC setup I had back in my old house. And yeah, I got it all set up, especially with my brother Simon's help. So it's all fine, which is all fine and dandy. Got two of my plugs here. Yeah, I've got my plug here. One of the plugs for the Xbox 360, and one of them is for my PlayStation Move charge set. Like here is the PlayStation free Move, PlayStation 3 Move Transect. Is my Xbox 360 controller, and the other one as well that I've got set, that I got on my old Xbox 360, on my current Xbox 360 console. And of course, obviously, there's my physical release PC games over there. I rarely ever touch any of those games, but they're all just there entirely for you know, just there. They're just there whenever I need them, whenever I need. And a lot of those games are old. Some of them don't work on my new. A lot of those old games, I have never tested any of those games on my current PC. But I know I have a few like Windows 95 games, maybe a DOS game, one or two free DOS games that I know they're not going to work on here. Yeah, and those are my old PC games there. Then I got my two Xbox controllers. My Xbox Duke controller, the 2021 revised Duke controller, which really looks cool. I really like the Duke controller, the original Xbox Duke design. And I've also got the original version of the original Xbox controller, and I got the Xbox XBCD cable, so I can plug this controller onto my computer if I want to play some control pad type games on my computer. So that's good. So that's a good enough thing for me. So yeah, I kind of like that. So I got that all set up. Only downside is this little thing in the plug there. On that second plug there, I don't know what it is. You won't be able to see it much, but there is kind of like a dent in the plug on the right. I don't know what it is or how it got in there, but I can't seem to pull it out. I would try it, but I don't want to risk getting an electric shock. It would be too dangerous to try and pull it out. I'll have to have one of my brothers alongside me have a look into it if I can. If I can. So till then, I'll just have to use this 4-plug extension, whatever, to go with. And over in here, there's just a couple of my books, magazines, and cases, and it's just all mass of junk and all piles of other things in there, including my wallet and pens and stuff. Yeah, I didn't want to show much in there because I usually keep all my paperwork, some of my paperwork, including notes and such, in there. Yeah, so that's basically what I've got set up on the PC era. Now let's go and have a look at the games over here. Now down here is the DVD section. Now I don't consider myself a movie watcher, but someone has gotten me a couple of DVDs to watch. If I ever feel like I want to watch a DVD, like ever on my console or on my PC when I'm doing something. So yeah, they're just there whenever I need to. I probably may think about throwing away like some of my recorded ones or any of the ones my brothers recorded for me. Yeah, maybe, but I'll give it a think over and sometime in the future. And now here are my PlayStation 4 games, physical. All my physical PS4 games are here. Yep, including all the bigger box ones. Yep, I kept all those. Yep, and I'm still quite going through a lot of my PlayStation 4 games. I am going to start I am going to return to boosting on PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 games that are confirmed to have their servers shut down. Their online servers shut down so that they may not be playable anymore online. But I'll get around to that eventually. And here's also my PlayStation Vita games, which I haven't got as much of. But yeah, there's a little selection of Vita games, as well as my PlayStation Portable games. Not much is there, but still quite a good set. And now here are the Wii games on top here. The Wii and the Nintendo GameCube games. I have them both. I have my Nintendo GameCube games and my Nintendo Wii games all in the same category because I played them on the Nintendo Wii. And there's Wii Sports there as well. Pretty much the same thing as I do with my Xbox games. Rarely ever touch. Again. Yeah, I put my original OG Xbox games there alongside my Xbox 360 games in the same category. So yeah, that's pretty neat. And now the big ones up here, these are the PlayStation 1s. Right, so here are the PlayStation 1 games. About 4 sets of stocks of PS1 games, including a big set, including one little proper CD case, 2-side CD case that has my Point Blank and Cool Panic in here. I'll just lay it down here. So here it is. Point Blank 1 and Cool Panic are in here. I wasn't able to sell those games off because when I sold the PS2, when I gave my PS2 to my older brother, two of the light gun game, I then started selling off the vast majority of my PS2 games, and also started getting rid of any of the PS2 controllers that are just sitting around in my bedroom space in order to help make some bedroom space. So yeah, I'm starting thinking, yeah, maybe it was a good time to get rid of some of my old PlayStation 2 and old Game Boy Color stuff. Otherwise it would have cramped up too much space. And yeah, my old Game Boy Pocket, my Game Boy Color that I used to have, yeah, they lost their battery covers. The battery chargers were broken, and all I had was just the plug for them. And yeah, playing the Game Boy games like those, yeah, it wasn't gonna work out, so I had to get rid of them, including the Game Boy Advance SP, which yeah, I didn't like the design of it, and that thing was also breaking apart because one of my younger nephews dropped it accidentally, so yeah, I had to get rid of it as well. But I will look into a new Game Boy Advance. Again, I'll talk a little bit about it later. And also over here is the PlayStation 1 demo discs. I kept those PlayStation 1 demo discs, including a PS2 demo disc, which I have here, and a Kingdom Hearts, and I think I also have a Kingdom Hearts preview demo disc there as well, and a GameCube preview disc as well. Also music, PS1 music generate music game maker on PS1 as well. And then I got here all my PlayStation Coaster set. I've got a set of PlayStation Coasters. Just a simple little Coaster Coaster set. I sometimes use them and sometimes I just don't. I got a set here. Here's one which I bought for £1. It's just a simple button PlayStation Coaster. And now here are 4 two-sided coasters that have two sides here. There's the Gran Turismo one. There's 2 sides, medieval and lemons, and oh no, more lemons. There's one of Parappa the Rapper and one showing Destruction Derby 1. And now here's another one. This one is Wipeout, and the other one has Twisted Metal. Really awesome games. And then also I have the Capcom PlayStation PS1 Coaster set, where it's just simple small PlayStation 1 case remakes of the PS1 games, just done in a Coaster set form. These do not have a game inside. They're just little coasters that you put your tea mug on. And I found one of Dino Crisis, Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, and lastly Street Fighter Alpha 2. Yep, so really good set. So that's all the coasters I got here. I would like to get a Namco set of the PlayStation Coaster, because that one includes Ridge Racer, Tekken 2 and 3, and Time Crisis 1, which I really would like that set. And up here there's all my game console instruction manual and other empty accessory boxes that are just up here. Of course, my old Nintendo 3DS console is in its actual packaging. I kept the box for the original Nintendo 3DS, and I have got the accessories for the original Nintendo 3DS, including the cover, including the protective case, the grip, the controller grip, and of course the Amiibo NFC reader, which my 2DS XL doesn't need, because my 2DS XL actually can read the Amiibos without needing the separate NFC reader. You just plant it on the touch screen. Whereas on the original Nintendo 3DS and the 3DS XL, on the old Nintendo 3DS XL, you do need to use the NFC reader to write to read the amiibos on. So now let's move on to the PlayStation 3 aisle. Now all this shelves here is going to be for the PlayStation 3s. Maybe for the PlayStation 5 if I end up getting a PS5 as well. Because I do plan maybe this year or the next to get a PlayStation 5 at this point. Because then it'll be time, because I think it'll be time to get one of the newer consoles. To get one of the newer PlayStation consoles. But here is the PlayStation 3, and I've got, at the moment, 4 shelf box full of PS3 games, as you can see. This is a massive set of PlayStation 3 games I've got here. So, if you look, let's have a look. There's the first set, going from A, B, and C. Then working it up to D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, and so on. So all these games, I've labeled them all. I put them all as much as I can alphabetically, and organized each of the PS3 games as much as I could. I put all the PS3 games I grouped them all up as much as I possibly could. I am still going to be buying PlayStation 3 games. I do want to buy more PlayStation 3 games because I do enjoy playing games on the PS3 as well as the PS4. And I do want to locate some PlayStation Vita games that I hope will work on the PlayStation TV. That I hope are compatible with the PlayStation TV as well. So that's something. Now let's turn my attention to my door here. Now at the door here, I recently got my my coat hanger back after I realized it was missing, and I was trying to locate where it was in a couple of my drawers, and I could not find it. But eventually my mum found it, and I now set up the coat hanger, and I've set up now my coats, my bags, including my rare PlayStation bag. That's here. Yep, there it is, my bag, my PlayStation bag. My current bag for when I'm going out. My hat is there. My coats, including my summer coat and my big coat there if I'm going out and shit. So yeah, my coats are all there. But there's one little tiny thing. My door is missing a knob. My door is missing a knob. Is missing the knob that locks the door there, and we are gonna have some workers come in at some point. Who knows? Maybe the next couple of days or something, or weeks. Who knows? Who knows? My brothers are hoping to give us a hand on that. And I'll be there as well to also help as well to get all the shit to get the doors set, so when I finally can finally close this door. So in the meantime, if I want to make sure my door stays shut, I have to use one of my old PlayStation 1 boxes. This is my old PlayStation 1 FIFA racing wheel. It has got my old racing wheel set that I've still got. Even though it's not compatible with my PlayStation 3, but I do want to get rid of this at some point. Like all my old PlayStation 1 accessories that's still there, I do want to get rid of them. Otherwise, so they're gonna cramp a lot of my space there. So hopefully we'll figure it. So hopefully we'll get the door set up and sorted out, and I can move that into the cupboard out of the way. I'll go this out, and here is my pool cue, my old pool cues. Still got my pool cues here. Okay, so hopefully that maybe one day they may start allowing me to play pool again. I may find what is it, somewhere else that I can finally play pool in. Anywhere that's cheap that I can play pool with some carers. I hope that maybe in future I can get set up with the carers again, and hopefully go out and play pool again, because I really do miss going into shops and buying some stuff, because my money's popped, because ever since the COVID pandemic that's happened all those years ago, I've been cooped up in the house, unable to go out and so forth. But I'm hoping now we can hopefully set up going out with carers again, and finally going out some more, especially when I need to possibly start sorting out all my old stuff and collect old games again and pick up some new stuff and shit. Now let's turn our attention to the handhelds, because we got the handhelds here. Now this is what we're going to need to talk about. My handheld setup. Recently I started going through my handheld devices, my current handheld devices. As you can see, I've got a couple here. A lot of them are old, and like I said, I did get rid of the Game Boy and Game Boy Pocket, the old Game Boy Pocket and Game Boy Color, because I lost the battery covers, I lost the link cables and such. I'm not sure. Did I lose the link cables? No, I don't. No, I didn't lose the cables, but I lost the chargers. They broke. I couldn't use them anymore. They just wouldn't work. They just would not work anymore. I lost one charge battery pack for the Game Boy Pocket. It broke. Also, I think it broke. I can't remember. To be honest, I cannot remember for the life of me. But I had no other choice but to get rid of them, including the games I had for them. So I had no other choice but to get rid of them. I would have bought in a spare one, but they were just taking too much space, and I didn't have anywhere to put the Game Boy Color games, the old Game Boy and Game Boy Color games too as well. I would have put them on the Game Boy Advance pile. Like I would have put them like where the original Game Boy and Game Boy Color games there, on top of the Game Boy Advance games. But yeah, that would have caused a lot of space uproar. So I had to get rid of the Game Boy consoles and such. So what I have here is my current my current handheld set. Yeah. So I have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 handhelds, including the one I'm holding here. Yeah, I'll show you that in a moment. Now I have my 2DS XL. This is my current Nintendo DS 2D Nintendo DS 3DS game system I'm using. This is my current Nintendo DS system I'm using. I like the 2DS XL a lot. I've got my two big large styluses, including the stylus that's in here, in case I want to use a much more bigger stylus. And I prefer my much bigger styluses than all the ones that my third-party Nintendo 3DS carry cases come with. All those cheap little plastic smaller styluses that are not that great. Here is the case that's for my 2DS XL here. That, alongside that, the other side of the Pikachu case here, alongside the protective case that's for my DS Lite. I'll get into that. But my 2DS XL, it works fine. I have currently no problems with this thing. I wanted a white and orange one. I chose a white and orange one. I really do like the 2DS XL, and I like how I set this one up. I set it up with Pikachu protective case. I set it up with the screen protector. I've set it up now on the joypad grip. I have got the charge cables for it. Plenty of charge cables for it, like two of them, which will work, including a nice charging stand, which it doesn't seem to work all that properly, but oh well, it was just a little like something that I got extra with it, so I'll be keeping that. Now let's move on to the PSP. I've got a PSP 2000, and my PSP 2000, it works. Like, it works fine. I'm able to power it on, but I'm not able to power it off properly. I don't understand why, but the PSP is just a pain in the ass when it comes to powering this thing off. Like, I go in to turn it on, and so like, it'll power on. Like, it'll power on. But every time I try to power it off or something like that, it'll go into standby and sleep mode all the time. Like, see, that has been annoying the hell out of me. I tried different ways of trying to power this bastard off. Like, either holding the thing up for a couple of seconds, only for it to come back on again. And it will still not go into standby mode. So I tried turning it off like that. And see, I tried doing the circle. Hold the circle button down and then try to do the power button thing. And still. Oh, okay, it worked that time. Sometimes it works, but then there are other times it doesn't seem to work. And that causes my battery to and because it's in standby mode, then in sleep mode, I need to find system settings and battery information. That it sometimes starts draining my battery. Like at the moment now, it's been the last time since I was playing around on it, and it's now at like 74%. like it was only on it for like a couple of minutes, like a couple of days ago, just to mess around on it, to see if it was still working. And while I was just perusing through my PSP accessories, which I got here. But yeah, turning it off is just a total bastard. And about the only way I was able to figure out how to turn the damn thing off, when all the other times I wasn't able to get it to turn off, was just to take out the battery. So I know exactly how to alternate the battery and take it out. It's going to be impossible to do it with one hand. It's going to be impossible to do this in one simple hand here. But yeah, take the take the battery out, and there you go, the PSP finally turns off. It's a nuisance having to do it this way, and I think it's because like the power button, like it's a bit of an annoying thing. It starts wearing and gets breaking, and it's starting to break or something. But yeah, it's a bit of a nuisance. I have got accessories for the PSP as well, including a spare charger, which I got set up from my PSP accessory deluxe pack. I've got charging cables. I got a screen which looks nice. I get my brother Simon also. One of my brothers also put a new case for it. It did have a bit of a denty screen, and yeah, it's actually working. It does work a lot better. Just turning it off is a bit of a bastard. And also my PSP is a little bit quiet. Is also a little bit quiet, even on the maximum volume. Because some of my games just sound way too quiet on it. I'm not sure why, but I think it could be the channel. Or I think it could be the speaker on this, could be a bit dented, but I don't know. I can just plug in my headphones in if I want the full sound, if I want the full sound on it. Or unless I have to just play around with the sound settings on my PSP or whatever. Now, I do have some things as well. Number one, my controller grip for the PSP is busted. It's busted, it's broken. It's busted, it's broken. And I will have to think about getting a new PSP controller grip, because the little tiny pieces has come off from it from when we were moving places. Yeah, it broke apart. So that's kind of a problem. So I will have to buy a new grip for the PSP, and as well as that, I do want to buy a bigger memory card for the PSP as well, just entirely for storing any downloadable games I got on this system. I haven't got many digital downloaded games on the PSP, but I do need to sort that out sometime. Yeah, so I hope when I look on Amazon for a new memory card for the PSP, I hope I find the one that's the biggest size PlayStation Portable memory cards set. I'm not sure if it's the 64 gigabyte 128 gigabytes or the 256 gigabyte is the biggest is the highest memory card capacity you can have. Or is it memory stick? These they're called. I think they're called memory sticks. But whatever the case, I'll probably need to find either a 64 gigabyte memory stick, a 128 gigabyte memory stick, or 256 gigabyte memory stick for storing all my big games on. For storing all my PSP games on. So I'll have to think about that. So I'll get that a look into. So, and here's all the accessories that's in my PSP box. I did have a look inside my PSP box that I've looked into. Like, one has a charger, car charger, the carry case, Sarah crappy headphones, a little spare. I'm not sure what the hell that's supposed to be. I think that's supposed to be a I think it's supposed to be a power extension thing. Yeah, these are the spare cables which I've got. This is the plug I'm using. I did have an old PSP plug that I bought with my system, and I bought separately with my system, but it eventually broke. It eventually started coming apart and so on. There's a couple of empty cases for like any of your PSP games in case they don't. In case any of my PSP games don't have boxes. This one's just a stupid wrist strap, and cleaners, and screen protectors, and shit. And yeah, inside is where I put in the vast majority of the cases and accessories, and spare cables and shit, and so on in here. So in case I need any of my other stuff that's on the PSP in here. Yeah, it's all in here. So I pretty much have gotten that all set up. So that's basically the PSP accessory that's in there. So yeah, that's basically the PSP setup that's in here. So that's the PSP taken care of. Now here's now here's my. Sorry, I need really to explain all these handhelds carefully. Anyway, here is the Nintendo DS Lite. This is my current Nintendo DS / Game Boy Advance playing console for when I want to play Game Boy Advance games or any of my old Nintendo DS games on. This is what I've had for quite a long while. I did have an old Nintendo DS, the very first Nintendo DS, but that eventually broke, and I eventually just went with, you know, buying a Nintendo DS Lite. When I was in my old Nintendo DS, hinges broke off. The hinges on my old Nintendo DS broke off, and I eventually went with getting a Nintendo DS Lite because it had a much more bright screen. It was still compatible with all the Game Boy Advance games, and yeah, and it had a very good and it had some really good protectors going here. And that protective screen came with my DS platform, and it actually does look pretty neat on it. and I have got it on my Nintendo DS Lite. Expect sound grip. I have started recently going back to playing on the DS Lite, namely playing Tales of Pantasia Game Boy Advance on it. But I do want to point this out, the condition it's in. The hinge on the DS Lite has snapped off. It means it won't. It means it's broken off and it just feels floppy and started flopping about. But it still works, and I'm able to use this joypad grip to hold it in. Like, I'll turn it on just to show you. Here it is. Like, it's on. It's here. Like, it works pretty well. But yeah, you can tell it's a console that's showing it's been around for a while and it has started to come apart, but it still works. It still works. It still works, and that's all I need to know. Just I have to blow on the cartridge slots just to get one of my cartridges to work. Yeah, it's showing it and it's coming apart. I'll keep an eye out for a new DS Lite in case it does break, it does die out. If I want to play Game Boy Advance games or DS games on it. Like, yeah. But other than that, it still works. And the grip still works as well. I recently did test it as well. I did recharge the batteries in for this. I got set up in there. But yeah, it still boots up pretty well. So yeah, it's a good console, and it still works pretty well. Now we move on to the Evo K101 Plus. And this is my Game Boy Advance clone console that I got. This is what I too also use for playing my Game Boy games and so on. But recently this thing has been giving me some fair bit of trouble. I have been playing some games on it a fair bit, but the buttons on it has been giving me some fair bit of trouble. Like, the L and R buttons started coming, suddenly stopped working. And sometimes this thing doesn't seem to really charge properly. This console's battery doesn't seem to work all that well. Like, it may work. Like, it may work. Alright, so here it is. This is the cable I'm using with this system. My Revo K did come with a cable. Sometimes it's a bastard to there it is, it's on. Now sometimes when I plug it in, it may start charging, but then other times it doesn't seem to charge properly at all. And I'm thinking it's because of the battery it's inside. It could be getting faulty and it's not working properly. But when the thing's on, it does turn on. When the cable's in, it does sometimes turn on. But other times it just doesn't entirely. like I'll just pop a game, like I'll just pick a random game. Like a game will, any games I got inside here will like work. But then like some of the buttons just don't seem to work properly. Like the L button doesn't seem to work. You can't see very well, but yeah, sometimes the battery, yeah, sometimes the buttons don't seem to function like how they should function. The only buttons that seem to work fine are the Y, X buttons, which function the same as the L and R buttons, and the A and B buttons and the D-pad. But then when I turn the thing off and take out the cable, after taking out the cable, yeah, it doesn't seem to work. It's only when I pop in the cable it seems to work fine. Only then the system seems to work. But then the button, the L and R buttons don't seem to work now. Yeah, it could be busted. This thing could be busted for all I know. I will have to think about throwing it away and replacing it with a new Game Boy Advance console. Like, I'm thinking about maybe getting an original Game Boy Advance console. Like, that's unmodded, that is simple enough for me to pick, simple for me to find and easy to get set up, and when I can buy a controller grip for, so I can play my Game Boy game, so I can play my Game Boy Advance games, and also if I'm interested, buying original Game Boy and Game Boy Pocket games as well. So this is just going to have to stay a while until I get an alternate new Game Boy Advance and so I can then throw this away. Oh well, what a shame. What a shame, Ryu, okay? You were a good Game Boy Advance clone console when you play good Game Boy Advance games. But now, look at you, you're now breaking apart. Which I'm a little bit upset about, really. But to be fair, I have had this for quite a while. I've had this for quite a while, and maybe it could be about time to replace it. Now, let's move over to my other handheld device, which is the old Nintendo 3DS XL. I've had this old Nintendo 3DS XL since 2014. And I did want to get a bigger Nintendo 3DS XL because I've been playing, as I was really getting into doing stuff on the Nintendo 3DS, including playing the old Nintendo DS games. But now here's the thing, my old 3DS XL started coming apart. It's really damaged, as you can see. The hinge has come off and starting to come apart, and every time I try to move it, every single time, look, yeah, every time I have that, every time I move this up, yeah, that little hinge there snaps. Yeah, it was then I started thinking about getting a new Nintendo 2DS, a new Nintendo 3DS system, mainly the 2DS XL, the last Nintendo 3DS model that was made, because this thing was just really coming apart. It was really coming apart. So I had to replace. So I really needed to think about getting a new Nintendo 3DS system that to be for my 3DS games, DS games, and so on. But I have put in, for anybody that wants it, the charge cable, screen protectors, and the styluses. The spare styluses, that's there. So yeah, I'm gonna have to think about getting rid of this at some point to make room. And I have got a damaged joypad grip as well. I've got a damaged joypad grip as well that I had with my 3DS XL. When I got the grip for my 3DS XL, it did kind of damage the side of my Nintendo 3DS XL, my old 3DS XL. So yeah, this one is very damaged. This is a very damaged 3DS, and I'm just gonna put this one to the side and possibly think about getting rid of it as well, getting rid of this one as well, because that one is just damaged, and I don't want to risk using it anymore in case it really permanently gets broken, in case it permanently breaks down and becomes unusable. So again, that's why I moved to the 2DS XL to make the transfer from my old 3DS XL onto my new one. And it took me a fucking lot, and it took me like all afternoon to actually do that throughout my entire birthday, actually, when I did the transfer. So yeah, that's just my condition. So that's my condition of my badly damaged 3DS XL. So yeah. Alright, so now I'm started recording now from my 2DS XL to discuss about one more final handheld to show off for this gaming setup, and that's the PlayStation Vita itself. And yeah, the PlayStation Vita I got, which I have been doing all my recording on so far,
it wasn't in the best condition when I got this. I did have some minor issues with the right analog stick, but I eventually found a way to fix it. And only then, after like months of using it, it started drifting. It started drifting, and I started trying to clean it. And I think now, at this phase in time, the right analog stick on the Vita has stopped working entirely. The thing will still boot up though. Like it'll actually boot up. Like it'll actually boot up. Just anything like games on it just won't work. There's just the right analog stick just won't work anymore. I'm not sure what it is. Let me just pick this game. Let me just pick this game and see what's going on here. Because when I tried playing it, when I tried playing a game on here, the left stick will work, but the right stick just won't anymore. Like you'll see for yourself when we get to it. And I know the camera's kind of shoddy because, yeah, the 3DS, yeah, its resolution is not that great in comparison to the PS Vita and so forth. Even the left stick is starting to drift. That's not a good sign either. Alright, so I'll just pick this mode here. Because it'll just let me to walk around a bit. To test the controls. So let's just whenever it does get into gameplay, we can confirm like the sticks will work or not. Like all the other buttons, it seems to work kind of fine. Right, here we go. Here's gameplay. Here it is, the raid room. So here it is, like I said. The stick works. Buttons do tend to work. But then the right analog stick doesn't seem to work. You see? I'm moving the right analog stick and you notice there's no action going on. Nothing's happening. So my right analog stick could be broken. Right analog stick might need replacing. The system might need replacing. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, So I can't seem to get this Vita's right analog stick to function. Anymore. So yeah, that's kind of my problem. That's kind of the problem now. But I'm just thinking now, how am I gonna fix it? Other ways we could fix it. I could try and take the system apart and have a look inside what's causing it. I'm sure you guys can comment what causes these right analog sticks on these Vita 2000s. Yeah, I've got a PlayStation Vita 2000 model, which is the Slim edition of the PlayStation Vita system, and yeah, this one's got the analog stick drift problem. So yeah, I'm gonna have to take it apart, or I'll have to replace it. Either way, yeah, that's the condition. That's the bad state of the PlayStation Vita condition that it is itself finds itself in. So that's all you need to know, really. Alright, so there we have it. This is gonna do for my gaming setup. So I got a PC set up, my game consoles set up, I've got my handhelds checked over. I am gonna think about replacing the Revo K from possibly throwing it away and getting a getting an original Game Boy Advance console model instead. I'll buy a new grip for the PSP, possibly a new memory card, and my DSi, and while on the other side, my handheld devices are still working fine, considering the setup I've got for those, and my 3DS XL setup is on my old 3DS XL. I might consider throwing that away as well, or possibly giving it away anyway to someone who wants to repair it and do some heavy work, do DIY repairs to it. But my PlayStation Vita is gonna have to be replaced as well, maybe. But I'll have to sort that out eventually. So yeah, so this is gonna do for me for my gaming setup. I'm so far comfortable with my gaming setup as of now. My room is smaller, like I said, but I'm coping with everything. And of course I have got my cupboard here. Yeah, but that's basically just storing all my sparesy stuff, and also spare bedding, and also some towels as well. And there's some towels and shit, and that's in there as well. Yeah. So so that's gonna be So that's basically everything. I will go through some of my controllers eventually, and I'll start going through all the ones that are working and possibly throwing away all the ones that are not working. And so that's the only last thing I need to do, just for the cleaning up, for the full complete setup that I'm gonna work with. So yeah, this is gonna do for this overly long video that I've made now of this gaming setup video, and I hope you guys enjoyed me talking about my setup and going through a couple of things. I hope you guys enjoyed this gaming setup video, and then you enjoyed having a look at my consoles, my new bedroom setup and such. And I hope to see you all in future videos. I have got more Gundam Evolution videos planned. More Gundam Evolution videos are going to be on their way. And I'm also going to start Paladins. So 2 videos, so that's going to be 2 FPS game videos that's going to be worked on. And also, I have got more reviews planned on my GameSpot channel. Alongside some new games I've recently downloaded on my PS4, which will be good for a couple of easy platinum trophies. But please stay tuned for those.
and I hope to see you all in the next video. So hope you guys had a good day. So I hope you guys had a fantastic time watching this video. Hope you liked it. Give it a comment, like, and subscribe, and also to check out my channel for any of the other videos that you also would like to see. So hope you enjoyed it. Farewell. Goodbye.